other question, are you chewing your food sufficiently? Or is it a mechanical that before you know, you're putting the mouthful? So think about that. Chewing. We'll talk about why that is a mindful practice and how it helps health. And how often do you eat without distractions, phone, paper, thinking about the next thing to do? Yeah.
That I do. I don't have my phone with me.
So mindful eating is just, it's being in the here and now. And like I said, it's not a new concept. It goes back, if you look at Ayurveda, in Ayurveda, you talk about Agni. Agni is your digestive power, right? And that needs to be stroked and kind of activated for those digestive powers to start the metabolism, to start the digestion. And that is done when you're calm and relaxed when you're eating. So, this concept of mindful eating and calm and focus and connection to food goes back a long, long time. So it's not a modern fad, but I think we have so much in our culture and heritage and our philosophy and our way of life. It's about reconnecting with it, right? So why is it important? If we know it all, why? And, we were just talking earlier on lifestyle, our relationship with food has changed completely. We've become mechanical eaters. We've become mindless eaters because we are multitasking. We are already thinking of 10 things, what we are going to do after this, right? And we sit and eat, but binge, watch TV. And then
we are being led by emotions when we eat, isn't it?
Yeah. So that is one reason. And the second big thing, why it's so relevant to us now, we are living in a culture of a diet mentality. Keto, whatever, oh my gosh, low carbs. When you invite people, there's nobody who eats normal, right? But is it helping weight loss? On the contrary, the more the diets, obesity is growing, right?
Yes.
Hence, we need to connect more. And then also culture of abundance. Ghee used to be a treat for a health benefits. Now we cook in ghee. Gratification. Humko ye chahiye, we want this, we go and eat it. So we really need to kind of slow down and start this control of the moods and connect with foods. And, I think somebody was asking me why, what are the benefits of mindful eating? I will share some tips, but I just want you to understand, first of all, when you connect with foods, we were talking of the moods, you become more conscious you're in tune with the needs. You start then realizing you stop when you're full, not when you're just eating mindlessly, right? And also it shows that when you're eating slowly, when you're chewing, you're digesting, the food takes its own course and the nutrients get absorbed. When you're eating rush, then it's bloating, heartburn, gas, acidity, ulcers, etc., etc. Hence, it's really, really important. And mindful eating helps with weight loss and it helps digestion. And I can vouch for that. So I'm going to now just share just some basic things that we could do in our life, in our lifestyle, in our day-to-day. First about is chewing, right? I mentioned about chewing. Now, why is chewing important is because when we put a mouthful of food in, that chewing action activates the enzymes in our salivary, in the saliva, right? That's where the digestion process starts. So if you are not chewing properly, the process, it affects the digestion. The more you chew the food and break it down into smaller pieces, the better it is as it goes in the stomach, because this action will then activate the enzymes here and here. So,
And it will also help us know that when we are full, isn't it? We won't be eating more. Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, and then the absorption. Then it gets absorbed. If you don't do that, then it's all about the gas, bloating, and all things that I've talked about. Also, what it does is when you're chewing, they say 32 times, but that's not possible. But next time, people do try and count, and you will realize when you chew, you're eating slowly, right?
Yes.
When you're eating slowly, you eat less, right? And when you eat slowly, eat less, the brain, the signal you get is that you're full, right? You're consuming less calories. If you're eating fast, you eat more, and you think you're full, but the brain keeps telling you you're hungry, right?
So it also brings us to that point, isn't it, that you have to actually sit down and eat and not just rush and eat.
Yeah, bowl here, bowl there. Look, this is what we should do. I think the whole idea of having this conversation is we can't change our lifestyles. It is what we have. But let's try and be a bit mindful and at least try and do. And I'm going to leave you with 3 tips today that we could do. The second thing I'd like to also share is second mindful practice, eating with fingers.
Really?
Because according to Ayurveda, there are the nerve endings. When you do this, it actually start activating the enzymes and start the digestive process.
Is this for all the food that we eat?
All khana. No, all khana. Cutlery, and then you're eating less versus you eat in cutlery. I do a lot of these workshops on my, radical kitchen thing. So I don't have a lot of time today, but it is so fascinating to see the connection between eating, between chewing and weight loss and improved digestion and improved gut health. So now you can see why mindful eating is helpful. It also helps in preventing preventing diabetes, type 2 diabetes. Because when you're eating fast, you're eating more, there's an overload of food. And you're doing it, then it gets very difficult for the insulin to act. So when you're eating slowly, that fluctuations and the glucose management is better. Now I'm going to come to one of the easiest way, which is traditional, which is very close to my heart, is mindful practices, portion control. Here is a thali, right? Oh, wow. This is how we used to eat, right? And the benefit of eating in a thali are numerous. Number one, it's a balanced meal. Balanced, dal or non-veg, protein aa gaya, yogurt, dahi, cooling, calcium, vitamin D, gut health, any vegetable, fiber, and a salad, right? This is now we can't do this every day, but this is how we grew up, having just simple food. But the other thing about thali is portion control. And I'm just going to show you a little exercise. So you've seen the portion of rice here, right? It's this katori. Now, if I watching TV, talking to everyone, I do one, I do two. Okay, I'm a bit hungry. My mood is off. I was stressed. Yeah, this versus this.
Yes, absolutely. So again, comes down to stems to the point that when you're eating, it has to be a very holistic, very ritualistic eating, isn't it? It doesn't have to be rushed. And that's what our roots really taught us.
Yes. And now you look at the difference.
Absolutely.
Fast track to diabetes, fast track to health.
And we all are guilty of that, just stuffing our plates.
But there are small things we can do, Ekta, that can make a massive difference. And we need to teach our children that,
Yes.
Chips, burgers, TV ke samne, at least as a family, try and eat one meal. And so this thali eating can be also done in Western food, not just the traditional food. But if you look at some of the Western diets, they have normal portion control. They'll one piece of chicken, a little salad. Our salad is lost somewhere, right? Have a big bowl of salad like this because you need the fiber. So the thali concept gives you a balance of nutrients, balance of textures, and the balance of flavors, the rasas, which you need in Ayurveda, because you need the 6 rasas, which completes the meal, acid, the astringent.
How interesting.
So there is a science. So I will now just quickly give you some tips, and then if you have any questions, then we can have a chit chat.
So my question again would be to, like I was mentioning to you, while I'm watching movie, I really don't realize how many packs of popcorn I've eaten. So we all are in that habit of binge eating at some point. We are sitting with friends, having a chat, having a drink or whatever. Is there a healthy option of binge eating which we can just replace, small replacements which can help us actually benefit that eating time, even if we are not mindful of what you're eating, if you're just mindful of what we are binging on?
So there's a very interesting point you made. There's been a lot of research on mindful versus mindless. This popcorn eating and chicken wings eating. People have been eating and talking, not realizing, and as part of the experiment, someone was refilling it, and you end up eating this much. Some tips that I can share. Yes, everybody knows carrots and hummus and celery. It's boring. We can't do that, We have to also enjoy life. It's not be that we say, you'll do it for 2 days and then it goes. So what I do is, I get these, we call it Mahabaleshwari chana.
Yes.
They're roasted chana. just keep this. These are protein. So anything that you have with protein keeps you full with for longer. So that's another tip. Protein snacks are good. And then we like a bit of chatpata, a bit of spice. So you can put some onions, chilies, coriander, neemu, chaat masala, and make it tasty. Take avocado, cucumber, tomatoes. Just make a nice mix, and then just get rye vita or bake your matris. There are things that you could do that are healthy. So there are some other things. So thali is good. Try, and one tip I would give is, if you're eating rice, take a katori, put it in there before you serve yourself directly from the dish. You will immediately reduce the amount of carbs you're taking. Carbs is a clear fast track to diabetes, especially for South Asians. I'm sure there's been a lot of discussion. So it's, you're going to be just controlling what you eat, or have 2 chapatis. So that portion control, being mindful of how much you eat, is very, very, it will take you a long way. Weight loss, health. Then ditch the diet culture, please. So these are my little tips to you. Ditch to you means to everyone. I'm trying to follow it. Practice. Preaching is okay. We need to practice it also. Ditch the diet culture. I have done all kinds of diets for the last 20 years. Last year, because of pandemic, I started, we had time and there was a lot of thinking going on, and I lost 6 kilos and I've maintained it. But I've been walking also, but very, very mindful. Ditch, eat, enjoy. Yeah. And, we all need treats. Chew. The next thing, which we can all do, just try and chew and count to 20. Enjoy. Connect with the food. Dekho, kya hai? What is it tasting? What's the spices?
After all, this is what we all are working for, isn't it?
Exactly.
And we can really conclude this by saying, and while you were just saying that having that portion of rice in the katori first, that bowl first, that is so interesting. So maybe that's why in our ancient time, the food was actually served, and people didn't take it on their own, because I think that was the way of controlling diet, isn't it?
This chawal, can you see that? Versus this.
Yes.
I was eating this till about a year back.
Taken a lot from this session, and we can definitely also conclude that apart from being mindful of what we are eating, there has to be a very conscious choice of making a lifestyle change, that there has to be set time to eat when the family sits together. There is no nasty discussion. We are probably just having a good time and eating.
No COVID, no Brexit, no anything that makes upset. Pleasant, and just go back to food. Respect. That's really, and value it. Value it.
Radhika, it has been such a pleasure speaking to you today, and I have really learned a lot from this session. Even though those tips are something that we can actually start doing right away. So thank you so much for being at
Thank you, Ekta. It's been lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much.
It is. Thank you so much.